So here I was, ladies and gentlemen, already half asleep, dreaming and counting sheep, and then I do the crazy thing. I look on Twitter. I've had this perfect sleep schedule for the last month now. The first time I've had a proper sleep schedule where I sleep at like a good time, 11 p.m. and I wake up at like 6 p.m., 6 a.m. each day, and then I go on Twitter and I do the unthinkable. It says a new tweet by MiaSanMiaTV, and I was like, ah, no, here we go again. So MiaSanMiaTV, basically the Twitter aggregate master, the Bayern aggregate master, right? He tweets, and I'm like, let me find some clothes. Let me put the clothes on. I am absolutely tired, if you can't tell. But I thought, well, here we go. Or shall I say, here we don't go. So if I look tired, I apologize. There is no fan, so it is absolutely boiling because I can't put a fan on while recording. It's absolutely nonsense. And if I do look absolutely awful, that would be a lie because I never look awful. So yeah. So MiaSanMiaTV, he gets his news from, first of all, eSport 3, as well as Xavi Campos, who are apparently very, very credible for Barcelona. And they write that Barcelona are now closer to signing Sergiño Dest than Bayern are. Bayern are negotiating with another player, and Barca have made contact with Ajax, and negotiations for Dest are going well. You know how earlier today the news was that we are relatively close to Dest. That, you know, we're not quite there yet, but we're gonna put in our second offer in that regard, and that we found personal agreements with Sergiño Dest. Yeah, well, so much for that. So much for that. I even said quite comfortably, I mean, that was just my opinion, but I even said quite comfortably that I think, considering how the club has been talking about this transfer, that like this transfer would be done by, say, Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah. That drink isn't even frozen anymore. But yeah, now Barca seem to be in a better position than we are. They seem to be very, very close, and we are apparently looking at another player. Now, obviously, we've been linked with a few players, but most of the time, the players that we've been linked with, those links then essentially died down. So I don't actually know. I don't know. I actually don't know. Maybe my brain is just fried. But like, we've been linked with obviously Max Aarons, but I feel like we've already had a bid, and then I think the news came out like a long time ago, like 3 weeks ago or so, that like we're not actually interested in him. That it was just a preliminary interest, and then nothing else happened from that. But now apparently, like with Barcelona, you know, being close to death, I do wonder who we're going for, because it's clear that we want a right back alternative. I mentioned it actually earlier on Twitter today that, like, from what I've actually seen from Dest, I personally am not a fan of it, because, you know, he's very attacking but not very defensively minded. I mentioned this way before, like, Barcelona was like in this pole position. So in case people are saying that, I'm just saying that because now, you know, we're not in pole position anymore. But like I mentioned that like, you know, I personally prefer. I mean, I grew up with Lam. I personally prefer fullbacks who are very solid defensively and are still good offensively, but primarily are, you know, very good defensively. And Dest to me has seemed like a very, very offensive player. Which is why I personally wasn't sure, but I also said that if the club, you know, if the management, if Brazo, Salihamidzic, if he wants to go after Dest, I will fully back him 100%. Because for me right now, you know, whoever Salihamidzic gets, you know, like, he's basically built up credit for me. Because obviously we were all criticizing him the first transfer window that he came in. He made absolutely no signings, and since then, you know, he's been getting us tremendous players. Davis, obviously a big name. Sane, of course. When I say big name, I mean, like, all right, maybe not big name. I should probably use a different phrase. Davis, obviously a big surprise. Sane, a big name. That is very, you know, important and very useful for us. Then you have Pavard, Lucas Hernandez. We've got plenty of players, of course, that have fit in and are doing really well at Bayern. So for me, Salihamidzic, he's earned that credit to the point where, like, he can essentially, if he says, you know, he wants Dest, even if I don't think, you know, even if me personally, I don't think that he is the best option for us, I would still back him 100% because, you know, clearly has seen something that I'm not. But now, obviously, the question is, who is an alternative to this? who is an alternative to this, and I'm honestly way too tired to think about who could be an alternative to this, because at the end of the day, the two names that we've really been linked with are Dest and Aarons. So again, I feel like I heard the story. Maybe it was just my imagination, but I feel like I read the story like 2-3 weeks ago that like Bayern is not interested in Max Aarons. But I'm not sure actually. Like I honestly not sure. At this point, it just seems like, who are we after? Who are we after? By tomorrow, we'll probably find out a lot more, honestly. By tomorrow, we'll probably find out a lot more. I fully expect Bill to come up with a story relatively soon, honestly. But in terms of, like, who we're going for next, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. It's a little bit disheartening because I felt like, you know, this was getting relatively close. And as you all know by now, I don't like these long transfer sagas because I want these players to join us as soon as possible so that they can train with the team as soon as possible and be an option as soon as possible. Which is why I was like especially hoping for this to be done this week, and because of the way, you know, the reports that were coming out and everything, I thought like this would be done by Wednesday, and now it seems like Barcelona are closer than Bayern are, which is very, very interesting. Now it obviously all depends on where Dest wants to go, if he wants to go to Barcelona or if he wants to go to Bayern. Dest has said in the past like he wants to be a 50 million transfer signing, which means it's kind of stupid. Like who says, oh, I want to go for 50 million? That's like, whatever. Like, if I was a footballer, I wouldn't care. Like, I wouldn't put any pressure on me if, like, the price was 100 million, or I wouldn't put any pressure on me if the price was 50p. Like, it wouldn't matter to me at all. Like, you know, you go into a club, and despite how much, you know, the football world might value you, that's only because of your long contract. Yeah, that's only because of the details of your contract and the other club, the value that one club sees you compared to your contract. So, I wouldn't put too much, like, faith into that. Personally, but like he wants to be this, you know, player that goes the break records in that department. I'm just like, I don't know about that. And he also came out a long time ago and saying that like he wants to play with like Ronaldo, he wants to play with Messi, he wants to play with you know, these two players, which to me is like, okay, but is Messi gonna be at Barcelona for for more than, you know, his current season? I don't know. All right, so like to me, it's just one of those aspects where I'm like, all right, you'll play with Messi for a year, but after that, is there a project at Barcelona? I mean, Messi doesn't seem to think so. I don't seem to think so. But then again, elections are happening for them, so who knows? I would say, you know, if you really wanted a project, his best bet is to go to Bayern. But obviously, I'm speaking from our perspective. You know, who knows? You know what kind of promises they've made him. What kind of, you know, granted at Barcelona he would be a starter. At Bayern, he will be competing. He would be competing with Pavard, so that's obviously another thing that you're taking into consideration. He's a young player, and it's much better for him, you know, to develop by playing regularly than not. So from that perspective, I can also understand it. So on the balance of probability, I know that's not really. If I put it all on a scale, to balance it out, then I would honestly say that. Like, wherever he goes, you know, he's making a good choice for him personally. Wherever he goes, if he wants more game time, I think at Barcelona he will get more game time. If he wants, in my opinion, a much significantly better project, then he would get that at Bayern. But like I said, those are just the news that came out today. I'm gonna try and get back to sleep. I'll see you all then. I'll see you all tomorrow. Probably by the time I wake up. Now that my sleep schedule's ruined, by the time I wake up, there'll probably be new stories that we're very close to getting Dest again. And like by the evening, it'll be that Barcelona is close. Yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice day. Peace out and bye.